The introduction to Unraveling the Secrets of the Biblical Plagues, a modern perspective, sets the stage by providing context to the infamous biblical plagues, events described in the book of Exodus, where Egypt was struck by a series of calamities, meant to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites from bondage. This segment aims to define the plagues as not merely ancient tales, but as phenomena deeply intertwined with theological, historical, and scientific inquiries. Understanding them requires a multifaceted approach that considers the narrative's role in religious teachings, its historical plausibility, and its reinterpretation through modern science. The significance of examining the biblical plagues from a modern perspective lies in its ability to bridge ancient texts with contemporary understanding, offering insights into how such stories might have originated and their potential explanations. This not only enriches our comprehension of ancient historical contexts, but also enhances the discussion around the interface of science and religion. For example, some scholars propose that the Nile turning to blood, the first plague, could have been an instance of a red algal bloom, a natural phenomenon known as red tide, which can turn water red and deplete it of oxygen, leading to the death of fish. Another real-world application is the examination of the plague of darkness, potentially linked to a massive sandstorm or volcanic eruption, which would align with descriptions of pervasive and impenetrable darkness over the land. Several experts support the notion that revisiting these stories through a scientific lens does not necessarily diminish their theological value. They argue that understanding natural causes behind these events can coexist with their religious interpretation, providing a fuller picture of their significance to ancient societies. However, there are challenges and controversies associated with this approach. Critics argue that attempting to explain the plagues through modern science risks undermining their spiritual and miraculous nature, which is central to their impact within religious traditions. Others suggest alternative viewpoints, such as symbolic interpretations, where the plagues represent broader themes of justice and liberation rather than literal historical events. This introductory point influences other aspects of the topic by encouraging a discourse that is inclusive of diverse perspectives, historical, theological, and scientific. It sets a foundation for deeper exploration into each plague, prompting questions about the relevance of ancient narratives in modern contexts and their ongoing impact on cultural and religious dialogues. In the context of unraveling the secrets of the biblical plagues, a modern perspective, we delve into reinterpreting the ancient biblical plagues through the lens of contemporary science and historical analysis. The concept here is to bridge the gap between religious texts and modern understandings of natural phenomena, exploring how ancient tales might reflect real events explained by today's scientific and archaeological knowledge. This approach is significant as it not only enriches our understanding of historical events, but also integrates religious, historical, and scientific narratives, offering a more comprehensive view of the past. By doing so, it invites a dialogue between faith and reason, encouraging a multidisciplinary exploration that respects both spiritual and empirical insights. Several examples help illustrate this perspective. First, the Nile turning to blood, traditionally seen as a miraculous or divine intervention, could be interpreted as a harmful algal bloom or a red tide, phenomena well documented today to cause waters to appear blood red and become toxic. Another example is the plague of darkness, often associated with a natural climate event such as a sandstorm or volcanic eruption, which could have obscured the sun for days. These interpretations are supported by some scientists and historians who argue that understanding ancient texts in the context of natural events helps demystify them without diminishing their cultural and spiritual significance. However, this modern reinterpretation is not without its challenges and controversies. Some argue that reducing these events to mere natural phenomena undermines their religious significance. For believers, the plagues are acts of divine intervention that convey moral and theological lessons. Critics may also assert that scientific explanations cannot account for the precision and sequence of the plagues as narrated in the scriptures. Meanwhile, others believe that the coexistence of scientific and spiritual interpretations can deepen our appreciation without detracting from either viewpoint. This point connects to the broader topic by highlighting the fusion of disciplines needed to unravel historical mysteries. The scientific perspective compels scholars to examine environmental, geological, and biological clues from the past, while theological and historical insights ensure these interpretations remain culturally and spiritually relevant. Consequently, this approach fosters a holistic understanding, suggesting that the secrets of the biblical plague are not just about what happened historically, but also about how these narratives continue to shape our understanding of the interaction between the natural world and human belief systems. Through this modern perspective, we are encouraged to engage with ancient texts in ways that inform both our historical knowledge and contemporary worldviews. The historical and religious significance of the biblical plagues is a profound topic that delves into both ancient narratives and their lasting impact on religious thought and historical interpretation. The biblical plagues, as described in the book of Exodus, are a series of 10 calamities that God inflicted upon Egypt to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. These events are not only pivotal in the narrative of the Israelites' liberation, but are also rich with symbolism and theological messages. The significance of the plagues lies in their role as a demonstration of divine power and justice. They serve as a testament to the belief in a God who intervenes in human affairs, particularly to deliver justice and freedom for the oppressed. For many believers, the plagues reinforce faith in a moral universe governed by a divine being who sides with the downtrodden. This narrative has been pivotal in Jewish religious tradition and has influenced Christian and Islamic teachings as well. One real-world example of the plague's significance is their use in the Jewish festival of Passover, which commemorates the Israelites' exodus from Egypt. During the Passover Seder, each plague is recounted with rituals that emphasize the themes of liberation and divine intervention. Another example is the allegorical use of the plagues as metaphors for various struggles or catastrophes faced by humanity, serving as a powerful narrative in sermons and religious teachings aimed at moral reflection or calls for social justice. Scholars and theologians often express a range of opinions on the plagues. Some view them as literal historical events, while others interpret them allegorically, viewing them as moral lessons or symbols of natural disasters attributed to divine will. However, challenges to the traditional understanding of the plagues arise from scientific and historical perspectives. Some historians and scientists argue that the plagues could be explained by natural phenomena, like volcanic activity or climate change. This has led to debates about the balance between faith and scientific interpretation. The plague's historical and religious significance provides a foundation for understanding broader themes of divine human interaction, justice, and liberation in the biblical narrative. It influences other aspects of the main topic by offering a lens through which to view subsequent biblical events and their interpretation in modern times. Understanding these plagues enriches one's comprehension of biblical texts and their role in shaping religious tradition and moral discourse today. The concept introduced in the heading, Unraveling the Secrets of the Biblical Plagues, a Modern Perspective, delves into the exploration and analysis of the 10 plagues described in the Book of Exodus from a contemporary scientific standpoint. These plagues, ranging from the Nile turning to blood to the death of the firstborn, have traditionally been explained as acts of divine intervention. A modern perspective seeks to understand these events through natural phenomena and historical context, thereby bridging ancient religious narratives with contemporary scientific inquiry. Understanding the biblical plagues from this angle is significant because it allows for an interdisciplinary approach, combining theology, history, meteorology, and biology. By doing so, it enriches our understanding of these ancient events and provides a platform for dialogue between science and religion. For instance, some scientists have hypothesized that the blood in the Nile might have been caused by a bloom of red algae, while others suggest volcanic activity might have led to environmental changes causing subsequent plagues like darkness and hail. Two illustrative examples include, firstly, the theory that a volcanic eruption on the Greek island of Santorini, Thera, could have triggered climatic anomalies affecting Egypt. This eruption could align the plagues within a series of natural disasters, from changes in the atmosphere causing darkness to disruptions in the Nile's ecosystem. Secondly, the locust plagues are viewed today in the context of climate fluctuations, where drought followed by intense rains can lead to locust swarms, a phenomenon still observed and scientifically documented in various parts of the world. Supporters of this idea argue that such interpretations do not diminish the religious significance of these events, but rather complement them by offering tangible explanations that resonate with our understanding of the natural world. However, challenges arise from religious communities who may view these scientific interpretations as attempts to undermine the divine or miraculous nature of the texts. There are also scientific debates over the plausibility and alignment of historical timelines with the biblical narrative. This modern perspective not only deepens the analysis of the biblical plagues, but also influences broader discussions on how ancient texts can be interpreted and understood today. It encourages interdisciplinary research, fostering a holistic approach that blends mythology, history, and science. This connection underscores a wider dialogue about the intersection of fact and faith, enriching the ongoing exploration of human history and our understanding of the natural world. Share, like, and subscribe for more.